And I'd like to get started with
how is governance impacted by security? How can peace be sustained? These were some of the questions begging for answers as a panel rich with some African presidents, chairpersons of the African Union, and hosts, the United States Secretary of State, USAID Administrator, and other representatives sat down at the US-Africa Summit in Washington, D.C.
Thank you very much.
The president of Niger spoke about the Sahel region and the violence that has spread to other parts of the continent, as did his counterpart in the Horn of Africa, President Mahmoud, who linked Somalia's long-term security problems to poverty and ungoverned spaces.
Since around 2000, Algerian terrorist groups set up in northern Mali and developed a criminal economy, developed another ecosystem in the area, and it's on that backdrop, on that general backdrop, that there was the fall of the Gaddafi regime and that many weapons circulated in the Sahel, and that terrorist groups that used to be based in their safe havens in northern Mali spread out in the south in that country. And then we saw the birth of the Boko Haram phenomenon, and those groups have become the monsters against which we now find ourselves fighting today.
A lack of appropriate food, lack of state services that were not reaching the place, all this put together, the communities become very weak and they become very liable to obey the evil actions of the terrorist groups.
For the United States, Secretary of State and Administrator Samantha Powers said that a stronger foundation of good governance and firm institutions of development is what makes peace sustainable.
There's no one model of good governance. There's no one model for how to build strong institutions. I think we have to be informed by each other. We have to be informed by local conditions, local needs, get the balance right so that we're also dedicating resources, time, and attention to trying to build a stronger foundation of good governance, of strong institutions, of development, not simply emergency humanitarian response. That's what makes peace sustainable. That's what makes opportunity real.
There absolutely has to be an economic dividend on security consolidation and on governance, when you have leaders in place who are trying to deliver for their people.
Then the AU chairperson is welcomed and gives his recommendations.
To serve democracy in Africa, we must contribute to reestablishing peace and destroying this double standards, this double injustice in Africa.
One thing panelists at this meeting agree on is that while peaceful settlement of disputes is an essential element of avoiding armed conflict, however, to face the scourge of insecurity, more alliances need to be created. Millicent Walker, Channels Television News.